All right, let's move on over here to the Northwest, where there's some really strong teams here in the Western Conference. The first team up here, the Thunder, who were the 1 seed last year, 57-25. Their over and under this year is 55.5. I think the Thunder, they added some two key pieces here. They added Alex Caruso, they added Isaiah Harnstein, and they lost Josh Giddey and Gordon Hayward. They drafted Nikola Topic with pick number 12, and then Dylan Jones with pick 26. So what are your thoughts here on the Thunder on the over-under at 55.5?
This team is awesome. And I think they should have been in the finals last year. Luka Doncic happened and ruined two teams, I think, that were finals worthy in the playoffs. They just have such an overwhelming amount of young talent. And Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is an MVP candidate. They have J Dub, the Dortcher Chamber, Lou Dort, Chet Holmgren. They drafted Cason Wallace last year. They're stubborn. They're tough. Defensively, they're great. They added Alex Caruso, who is also a great perimeter defender that can space the floor. This is a great team. I think they're, of all the teams in the West, have the most confidence in them getting to the finals this year. They're great.
100% agree with you. I think that's the reason they added Alex Caruso, right? To kind of come in, slow down Luka a little bit because he was torching him and nobody could really slow him down. And SGA had to be the offense and he had to run the offense and then he can't play that defense on Luka as well. So I agree with you. Over 1 seed, definitely a good chance to make the Western, definitely making the Western Conference Finals, I think, and a good shot of making the NBA Finals here again, or trying to get to the NBA Finals again. All right, let's move on over to the Denver Nuggets. 57-25 is what they finished last year. We're the 2 seed. Their over and under here is 52.5. They added Russell Westbrook. They re-signed Jamal Murray. They added Dario Saric. They lost KCP. They added Reggie Jackson. And then they added Daron Holmes, who's a forward center with pick 22. What are your thoughts here on the Nuggets? 52.5 over or under, Osama?
I think the talent of Jokic alone is enough to keep them in the top three. They were the fifth best offense last year, and even though they dropped off, it didn't really, it doesn't reflect in the rankings or how well they did in the postseason. They're going to be good. They have a great core of guys, and we know who they are already. My main concern is losing KCP, being one of the top defensive players in the league, especially on the perimeter. That's a huge loss for them. He was a great shooter too. I think that it'll take a lot from Jamal Murray, like a lot of Jamal Murray, to at least help Jokic carry the workload a little bit. And I think there's a lack of depth that they haven't had to worry about for a couple years. I think they're still going to be a good team. There's some depth concerns in the postseason, but regular season, it'd be another solid year for them.
Yeah, 100% agree. I think they'll be the number 2 seed comfortably. They'll be right there again, 56, 57 wins. Russell Westbrook, will he be good enough to be a depth piece for them? Maybe at times, but he can't shoot, so he'll get that, Tony Allen treatment where teams are leaving him open, and that's going to hurt him in the playoffs. So, yeah, good regular season team. We'll see what happens with them in the playoffs. All right, let's move on over to the Minnesota Timberwolves. They finished last year 56-26. They were the 3 seed. The over-under here is 52.5. They lost Karl Anthony Towns, right, in that trade to the Knicks. They lost Kyle Anderson. They lost Monte Morris. They added Julius Randle, Dante DeVincenzo. They added Joe Ingles. They added PJ Dozier. Then they added Rob Dillingham, the guard, with pick 8. They added Terrence Shannon Jr., another guard with pick 27. So they added some rookies here as well. What are your thoughts here, Osama? Over under on 52.5?
I think this is the other team that I think had a really good shot at getting to the finals last year, and Luka Doncic happened again. But trading away Karl Anthony Towns may finally be the move that takes Anthony Edwards to the next level, where it's clear and obvious that this guy's an MVP candidate. He's a top 3 MVP candidate this year. I like that they added Randall and White Dante DiVincenzo. They're great additions via the Cat trade. They were the best defense in the league last year. A large part of that, hate him or love him, is Rudy Gobert. I don't see why they won't be the best defensive team again this season. And get ready for Naz Reid's season, baby. This is going to be Naz Reid's season. I think that aside from Oklahoma City, this is the team most likely to make the finals in the West.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do see some spacing concerns with Julius Randle on the floor with Gobert, but they can figure that out. They can put Naz Reid in there, and he kind of solves that a little bit more. But again, I think good enough to finish where they were last year, 3 seed, 50, way over the 52 and a half, 56, 57 wins again for them this year. And like you said, I do think they're probably one of the teams playing in the Western Conference Finals. I do see Oklahoma City Thunder, Minnesota Timberwolves as kind of the two teams in the Western Conference Finals, but we'll give those thoughts when we get there. But again, Anthony Edwards, just a beast of a player, and continued even more growth from him this year. All right. Moving on to the Utah Jazz, one of the bottom feeders here of the West, 31 and 51, the 12th seed last year. This year, again, 28 and a half. Rumors about them trading Lauri Markkanen, but he ends up re-signing with them. They didn't do much. They added Drew Eubanks and then Patty Mills, and then they did get a little bit better maybe through the draft with Cody Williams so with pick number 10, and then Isaiah Collier at pick 29. They added that the center out of Duke, the forward out of Duke, Kyle Flipowski, who had some drama around him, but they added some solid rookies here. But what are your thoughts here? Are they good enough to go over 28 and a half?
I think they're firmly locked into tank mode. Yes. I mean, by design, this is the worst defense in the league. They're going to be at the bottom of the Western Conference, if not in last, next to last. They were the worst defense in the league last year. They're number 30th, dead last out of all the NBA teams. It's kind of funny because in the beginning of the season, they started winning a bunch of games. You get Olynyk and Clarkson just like going crazy. And Danny Ainge was like, that's enough of that. Like, you guys are playing way less minutes. That's it. It was unfortunate that Lauri Markkanen didn't get traded somewhere else, but Danny Ainge probably wanted like 10% of your franchise's stock and 7 first-round picks or something like that to trade him. So kind of weird that didn't happen. And they didn't get a great draft pick after tanking. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with them. I'm not high on them though.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not high on them either. I think they're definitely under the 28 and a half. We'll see what they got in Isaiah Collier and Cody Williams. Maybe it's nothing. I feel like Isaiah Collier is Colin Sexton, so they just got his clone again. So I don't know what the Jazz are doing. Definitely Danny Ainge is just angling for more picks, and that's what he does. Danny the Hustler, right? So we'll see. I think they're definitely tanking for next year. All right, and the last team here in this division, the Portland Trailblazers. They had a 21 and 61 record. Were the 15th seed. Their over and under is 22 and a half this year. They added Danny Abadeja. They added Devontae Graham. They lost Malcolm Brogdon. They drafted Donovan Clingan with pick number 7. So what are your thoughts here, Osama, in terms of are the Blazers better than 22 and a half wins or not?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't think so. They have a collection of vets that don't really fit with Ayton and Anthony Simons and Jeremy Grant. It's all kind of weird. Offensively, they were the 29th ranked. They were damn near the worst offensive team in the league. I don't know if Billups has a grasp on like what the team's identity is. Like, at least if you have a good coach, you can get more out of your team. That wasn't really the case. Scoot Henderson had a pretty rough rookie year too. I think he ended the season pretty strong, but it looked really tough in the beginning. But he's got a lot of growing to do. And I like Shaedon Sharp. He's nice. He only played about 35 games, so hoping that we get to see more of him. But all those guys, Simons, Grant, Ayton, these are all trade candidates. What the hell is the point? Unless they don't have any draft picks or I don't know what their asset situation is like, but they don't have a strong incentive to be competitive. They might as well trade some of these guys.
Exactly. I don't. They're not going to be very competitive. I think they're finished right here again at the bottom of the West. And hopefully they're hoping they're going to get a first round pick next year and pair that with Scoot Henderson, who looked awful for most of last year. Some flashes. Let's see how he does this year. But again, if he looks awful again this year, yikes. That just resets the rebuild here in Portland.